Hare Krishna, Gauranga. So as I've been building up on Facebook and so on and so forth, this is the last two. This is the bonus tracks of the 30 key verses of the Bhagavad-Gita. So originally I had mentioned that in the first video, way back now, it seems a few months back, that the 30 key verses was originally two small pamphlet-sized books, and in those books there was like each verse had a category, like Kama Esha Krodesha Rajaguna Samudbhava was obviously lust, and then another one would be would be surrender, the mind, and then false ego in the spiritual world, and then so on and so forth. So the green book had a particular 30 key verses, and then there was a brown one as well, and that had two different. So it literally is just a case of one book has two different slokas from the other. It seems that the common factor nowadays is this 1856 is considered a 30 key verse, but traditionally when I first seen it years ago it was 54 and 55. So this is why just the slight variation at the end here. The last two are kind of just to be to get full coverage. Okay, chapter 18, also known as the conclusion of perfection of renunciation, and this is 1856. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sarva Karmanya Pisadha Kurvanu Mad Vyapashrayaha Mad Prashadad Avapnoti Shashvatam Padam Avyayam. Translation: though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee under my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Putale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namo Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunibari Pashachari Sitani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayati Garim Yatkipatam Hamvande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Nama Shrestha Manama Pisachi Putra Atra Surupam Rupam Tashagrajam Rupadimakaram Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivar Mahoradi Kamada Sampato Yashapati Takipaya Shri Gurum Tamatoshmi Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Putale Srimati Jagananda Goswami. So this purport is actually the smallest one out of all the shlokas that I've covered. Kind of, I suppose you could say in many ways, Prabhupada's again wrapping up these last three verses. 54 and 55 I said that I felt were linked like a back-to-back, and this one is also kind of a culmination of those last 2 points. Again, the pure devotee in his life and Krishna's relationship to him. So Prabhupada going to say here, the word Mad Vyapashrayaha means under the protection of the Supreme Lord, to be free from material contamination. A pure devotee acts under the direction of the Supreme Lord or his representative, the spiritual master. There is no time limitation for a pure devotee. He is always, 24 hours a day, 100% engaged in activities under the direction of the Supreme Lord. To a devotee who is thus engaged in Krishna consciousness, the Lord is very, very kind. In spite of all difficulties, he is eventually placed in the transcendental abode or Krishna Loka. He is guaranteed entrance there. There is no doubt about it. In that supreme abode, there is no change. Everything is eternal, imperishable, and full of knowledge. So, a couple of wee points here that I found might match that purport. Sometimes we do things on a mechanical platform, even in devotional service, especially in the beginning. And of course, this is one of the ways to go more deep into our relationship with Krishna and in our expertise in serving the spiritual master, is to be aware of that mechanical platform and to eventually do things with more presence and with more devotion. So we regularly sing songs every day in our ISKCON temples, or as I said in my temple kirtan series, where I sang all the main songs, that would be done in a daily temple program, or at home. Hopefully we'd also continue to do them in our house as well. These are the main songs actually that help us increase our devotion. And the content of these songs, is actually of the highest level. And one of the ones that you probably wouldn't even realise, the Guru Puja song, the very first line is speaking about this pure devotional service, this Kevala Bhakti. So of course we know how it goes. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. So this is the lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying here in this nice short purport, a pure devotee acts in the direction of the Supreme Lord or his representative. So even as a pure devotee, you're still under the shelter of your spiritual master. There's never a point where you step over or you step away from your guru. You work together and you'll form a plan. The guru gives you a specific, he looks at your abilities and your desires and your intentions and your karmas and conditionings and so on and so forth, and he builds a game plan for you to approach Krishna. And of course Krishna himself knows every single facet and aspect of your being, and he's also sculpting and removing and chopping bits off to help you have a clearer path to understanding him. But this Kevala Bhakti is pure Bhakti without any adulteration. It says that there's three types of Bhakti: pure Bhakti, Kevala; mixed Bhakti but with Bhakti being predominant, Pradhanya; and mixed Bhakti but with Bhakti being secondary, Gunabhav. And these are discussed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But particularly this Guru Puja, that's the first line, that the spiritual master gives pure devotional service. And of course another song, again, that we sing actually a few hours prior to the other one, also speaks about without the mercy of the spiritual master there's no advancement, and that we offer our obeisances 3 times daily. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado Yasya prasada nagati kotopi Dhyayanstuvam stasya Yasya shri sandhyam Vande guru shri charanara vindam. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember and praise the spiritual master at least 3 times a day. I should offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master. So again, one of the most wonderful songs that we sing is talking about that pure devotee and also pure devotional service. So these are things to keep in mind. This helps to resharpen or reawaken our focus in Krishna consciousness. And also it's saying here he is guaranteed entrance. Prabhupada says there is no doubt about it. And there's several or at least there's 2 main shlokas where Krishna makes this promise. He says in 8.7 Bhagavad-Gita, therefore Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me, and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. But he promises later on in the 9th chapter, and he says that he basically makes you could say 6 parts of that promise. Is engage your mind always in thinking of me, become a devotee, offer obeisance to me and worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Now he repeats that twice, at that middlemost special chapters, and at the end of the Bhagavad-Gita he says that again. So in 934, it's Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mam Evashyasi Yuktvaivam Atmanam Matparayanaha. Surely you will come to me, he's saying. So this is very clear. Prabhupada says there is no doubt, you know. And at the end, then it's absolutely 100% concrete. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evashyasi satyam te prati jhani priyosimi. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So after all the work and after all the service and after all the focus, Krishna is declaring you to be his own personal friend. So this is what Krishna consciousness enables us to achieve, above any other practice. Not just to see the Lord in awe and reverence, or to see him as the source of all spiritual material things, but to actually become Krishna's friend, to become, daily, 24 hours a day, 100% engaged in a loving relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the guarantee. When you have when you buy something in a shop, you get a receipt. You can go there and take it back and exchange it for other goods if something goes wrong. But this guarantee, doesn't need to have any receipt. It just needs a sincere practitioner to follow strictly and properly. And this guarantee, is not going to be held against us if we lose the so-called receipt. Krishna is telling us, the spiritual master is telling you, that pure devotional service will always be yours, and that relationship is there waiting for us in the eternal, imperishable, and full of knowledge and bliss spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.